Hey, how many downloads since last time? Are we closer to 20 million? Really? 10,000? Huh? 10? Not good you were.
Shining a light on autism and life as an autistic person. Welcome to My Friend Autism, a podcast breaking down barriers, stigma, and misconceptions around autism while increasing understanding and acceptance of the autistic community. And now, here's your neurodivergent host, Orion Kelly.
Welcome, my friend, to My Friend Autism. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about providing validation and support for autistic people and their loved ones. And on this episode of my incredibly downloaded, reaching 20 million downloads, just 19,900,ish and something to go. My Friend Autism, we're going to talk about something that only is experienced by a small percentage of neurotypical women, but has a disproportionate impact on autistic women. And that is PMDD. Let's understand the impact of PMDD on autistic women. What's fascinating about this is it doesn't matter if you are indeed someone who thinks they may experience this. If you have a partner or a sibling or a friend or a family member, right? You may, after listening to this podcast or watching it on my YouTube podcast channel, you may go, hang on a second, that sounds like, and you may actually save their life. If you think that's a joke, it actually has happened already, okay? So trust me, stand by. This may be the reason why someone in your life has gone on suffering and not known why. Let's talk about PMDD. Now, for starters, if you're someone who gets their period, you're probably going to be familiar with the symptoms of PMS, premenstrual cycle, premenstrual syndrome, or whatever you want to call it. This is a common condition. So PMS, common condition. It's experienced by about 75% of women in the days leading up to their period. Now, for some women, these symptoms can be much more severe and debilitating. This is a condition known as PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. PMDD is a severe form of PMS. Now, it causes emotional and psychological distress. It can be so serious it actually impacts a person's daily life. Now, those with PMDD find normal activities, so we're talking run-of-the-mill stuff, going to school, going to work, exercising, self-care, they find those things difficult. PMDD can even, in some cases, trigger thoughts of suicide and self-harm. Now, although it's related to the menstrual cycle, PMDD isn't believed to be caused by a hormonal imbalance. In fact, researchers think that PMDD may be triggered by the hormonal changes in the part of the menstrual cycle between ovulation and menstruation. After ovulation, this is what I'm getting from the research. I'm not just saying this because I'm a genius or a doctor or something. The research says after ovulation, follicle stimulating hormone, and stand by for badly pronounced things, luteinizing hormone drop, I'm just listening to this to hear Orion say things badly. Well, that's not very nice for you. Progesterone and estrogen start to rise, and this contributes to PMDD symptoms. So, after ovulation, follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone drop. Progesterone and estrogen start to rise, and this contributes to PMDD symptoms. It usually occurs 2 weeks before your period and signs tend to stop on your period. So if you're progesterone sensitive, I mean, seriously, I'm trying my best, you may have symptoms even longer. Okay, so if you are progesterone sensitive, the symptoms may go on even longer. What does that mean? Think about it like this. Some women may actually have just 3 to 7 days per month symptom-free. What? Some women may have just 3 to 7 days a month where they feel symptom-free. What? And we know autistic women experience this at disproportionate rates. Fascinating stuff. Let's dig a bit deeper here, okay? So let's go into some causes. Again, we're just looking at what I was able to find study-wise to give you a snapshot. Clearly, this is something you want to talk to your doctor about, or you want to do some more research about yourself. This is just a starting point. So studies show that those with PMDD are very sensitive to the hormonal changes. Now, for some, this could be due to a serotonin deficiency. What's serotonin, Orion? You know. Okay, I'll answer the question anyway. Serotonin is the brain hormone that controls your mood and makes you feel happy. Anyone can develop PMDD, but it's most likely genetic. Another risk factor could be personal or family history of mood disorders. So causes so far, it could be genetic, it could be serotonin deficiency, it could be a personal or family history of mood disorders. Smoking is also a possible risk factor, but there's not enough evidence to support that yet. Let's just assume that line was put in by the tobacco lobby. Research suggests that 83% of women with PMDD had experienced trauma early in life. Now, this is a fascinating suggestion. So, early trauma experiences, be that physical, sexual, emotional abuse, even neglect, are more common among PMDD sufferers than the general population. Incredible. PMDD has been recognised as a psychological condition since 2013. So, yes, what does that mean, Orion? It is the only type of premenstrual disorder in the DSM-5. My voice cut out then. That's your problem, not mine. So, in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5, since 2013, PMDD is recognised as a psychological condition. So this thing you never heard of before that may well and truly explain what you've been going through is actually a real thing and has a name. How about we talk about some of the signs and symptoms? So PMDD can sometimes be misdiagnosed because here's the thing, and this is what's so horrible about these types of situations. That, quite a lot of women who are late diagnosed autistic women, there's just so many misdiagnosis. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, why is that? Well, PMDD, for example, can actually sometimes be misdiagnosed because some of the symptoms of PMDD can mimic other conditions. Like what? It can be confused with bipolar disorder, thyroid conditions, personality disorders, even depression. Now, we know that autistic women diagnosed later in life got there eventually after many misdiagnoses, right? Many misdiagnosed conditions. A lot of them just mentioned there. Now, with PMDD, symptoms overlapping with these disorders occur only on the days between ovulation and the end of a period. Does that make sense? With PMDD, symptoms overlapping with these disorders occur only on the days between ovulation and the end of a period. You see what I'm saying there? So they're not everyday life. Some of the specific symptoms that someone with PMDD might have include extreme or sudden mood changes and emotional sensitivity. Another one, irritability or anger, depressed mood, a feeling of hopelessness, feeling worthless, or even guilty, anxiety, tension, feeling on edge. These are specific symptoms you may well have if you have PMDD. Little or no interest in usual activities, work, school, friends, passions, interests. Difficulty concentrating or focusing, a brain fog. Tiredness, low energy, excessive sleepiness. Appetite changes. Are you craving foods? Are you overeating? Or do you like to binge eat? Insomnia. Do you have trouble falling asleep or do you have trouble staying asleep? Do you feel overwhelmed or out of control? Physical symptoms as well, as we go through some specific symptoms someone with PMDD might have. With regard to physical symptoms, these can be things like breast tenderness or swelling, joint or muscle pain, bloating or weight gain, acne, and headaches. Now, I want to get a real insight here. Okay, I've actually got an autistic member in one of our stars of Orion, an autistic member of my channel's community. Her name's Danielle. I asked her to explain her experiences, and I'm just going to read verbatim what she wrote. There's so much misconception that it's just normal periods. But feeling suicidal, in pain, and intensely struggling is not normal. People have come out about this condition, met with honestly disgusting messages because they think it's just simple PMS. It's not. It's the most horrific thing to go through. I've had signs since I was 12. I got diagnosed when I was 17. I'm 20 now, and I'm going through trial treatments because there's no real treatment. So I'm reading to you, I haven't finished, I'm reading to you some experiences by a member of our community, an autistic member of our community. Her name's Danielle. She goes on. Doctors dismiss you your whole life, saying it's growth hormones. Just like how they ignored my autistic signs at an early age as being hyperlexic and that I was a genius or something. And that's why I acted up. This is Danielle's words. A lot of people who have PMDD will have been seen as a masking child, but as soon as PMDD hits, they become the opposite of that mask because they can't keep it up due to how exhausting this condition is. That's certainly what happened in my case. So Danielle, an autistic member of our community, thank you so much for sharing your personal experiences with PMDD, because I think, if anything, that is one of the most profound things and insights you're going to get into a condition you may well not have even known about, a condition you may well experience. All right, let's dig now into the connection. Let's talk about what the research says. Again, if this spikes something, talk to a healthcare professional, look into it more, do your own research. This is just a starter. Research suggests that PMDD is more common in autistic women. Okay, what does it say? Compared to 3% of non-autistic women, studies found that nearly 21%, but listen to this, up to 92% of autistic women experienced PMDD. Non-autistic women, about 3% have experienced PMDD. As an average, 21% up to 92% of autistic women experienced PMDD. 46% of women with ADHD experience PMDD. Again, these are estimates and they vary in the research. But what does it tell you? Non-autistic or neurotypical women, about 3% experience PMDD. Neurodivergent women, anywhere from the 20th percentage to 92% experience it. I mean, can you believe that? Researchers discovered that compared to 11% of non-autistic women with learning impairments, 92% of autistic women with learning disabilities experienced PMDD. So that seems like a relatively concerning rate. Okay, so let's just take this back a sec. Okay, so we've got neurotypical women with learning impairments having an 11% strike rate of experiencing PMDD. And then we've got autistic women with learning disabilities being at 92%. Now, even though there are just a couple of studies with really small sample sizes, the evidence does suggest that autistic women are more likely to experience PMDD. Now, if higher hormonal swings are linked to increase PMDD in people who are autistic, it could be anticipated that menopausal symptoms will also be more severe. Now and the good news just keeps on coming. So we're talking about autistic women who are well and truly in the pre-menopause, or they're not, that's not even on their radar yet phase, who are experiencing PMDD. But then, unfortunately, it's being suggested that higher hormonal swings are linked to increase PMDD in autistic people. And menopausal symptoms will also be more severe. So this is a lifelong condition. This is, in one way or another, this could be a lifelong condition that will cause great suffering. Now, there are reports that autistic traits, things like sensory differences, difficulty with regulation, are actually exacerbating. So what we're saying is there are reports, again, just suggestions, that autistic women with their sensory differences and their difficulty regulating are actually exacerbated during menstruation and menopause. So you can understand the problematic nature of that. If you're autistic, you struggle with sensory stuff. You struggle with the behaviors required to navigate life. You struggle with regulation. Well, guess what? Those struggles are exacerbated for autistic women during menstruation and menopause, which pretty much in this case means their entire life, their autistic traits are exacerbated. In addition to, divergent or more severe symptoms generally related with hormone changes is the caveat to that. It's quite fascinating when you think about it. The idea that autistic women can go so long in life because of many, and the reason, medical reasons, historical reasons, gender reasons, undiagnosed, and get just a long list, a shopping list of misdiagnosed conditions, or just no they missed the diagnosis completely, underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed. It's just either way, and they finally might be able to get one, but then making it even harder is an underlying condition, PMDD, which not only is throwing up symptoms that could be accounted for by healthcare practitioners as different things. And then you wonder how their life ever gets on track, how they ever get ahead, how they ever work out. I just can't even imagine. And then the pain, the constant suffering and pain. It's absolutely horrible. And look, these are really, new levels of insights and research and studies right in the infancy. There's not much we know. But what I wanted to do is to at least shine a light on this as a starting point. In any way, if we can help someone get a diagnosis that can actually help them in life, well, I reckon we've taken a step forward.
My Friend Autism with Orion Kelly. Join the conversation now by following Orion Kelly on Facebook.
And if you're interested in hearing differences, co-occurring conditions, things that autistic people may also experience and be challenged by, suffer as a result of, you definitely need to go to my YouTube channel, Orion Kelly, That Autistic Guy. I actually have a playlist, so it's even easier to find. Just go to my co-occurring conditions playlist and you'll find an entire playlist of videos on all different types of co-occurring conditions. Until my next podcast, my friends, how much closer are we to 20 million downloads? There's no one there. It's a... cry myself to sleep.
You've been listening to My Friend Autism with Orion Kelly. To join the conversation, get in touch with Orion and binge all the podcasts, blogs and videos, visit orionkelly.com.au.